welcome to your bonus birthday reading. It's Allie, your friendly mystic, and if you're new or old here, it's great to have you. It's so wonderful to be able to share energy and space with you. I'm so blessed that I get to do this, so thank you so much for being here. Now, if you're familiar with my tarot readings, you're familiar with YouTube tarot readings in general, you can likely skip to this timestamp here with no issue. But if you're new or unfamiliar with my readings and you'd like a little more insight into the intentions I set for my readings and just some good things to keep in mind when you're interpreting YouTube tarot readings as a viewer, then you can stick around. So first things first, this reading is for Sagittarius signs, sun, moon, and rising, as well as any other particularly important Sagittarius placements you might have. These will probably be more of planets, personal planets, nothing beyond Saturn. It's going to depend on your chart. It's going to depend on your knowledge of astrology. I do intend to make a guide on how to pick other placements besides Sun, Moon, and Rising, but if you don't have, if you're really green with astrology, you don't really have a lot of it, knowledge of it, it's better just to stick with Sun, Moon, and Rising for now. And my readings are timeless. I don't set a time frame for these readings. I just post them every month, just to keep myself on a regular schedule. It is just helpful for me because otherwise I will, I need structure. I don't do well with loosey goosey. So don't get caught up on the time period it's posted for. If it is, it might be timely for you. I find that it will more often be likely or timely for people just because that's how YouTube's algorithm likes to work. But if you find this a year from now, if you find this months later, you're attracted to it because of the title. That's how I craft titles, is to for videos, is to draw people in that are meant to hear these messages. Then very likely this message is for you. My readings are also very general. I do not have the ability to read for every Sagittarius placement all at once, so I set the intention to be for those that need it. Also, I think it's not really easy for you to receive messages from a reader you don't resonate with or aren't on the same frequency as. So I feel like I only really tap into the people who are on a similar frequency as me, or that can like close enough, I guess, if they're vibrating close enough, or things like that. So very general. If there are details that come up during the reading that don't fit your particular situation, but everything else is resonating, the reading is yours. Some people, there's just certain subgroups of watchers or acquirents that may need a slightly different message. So take what resonates and leave the rest. If leave it on the cutting board or the chopping block if you don't need it. What else? Also, last thing, a little disclaimer around the terminology feminine and masculine, just in case anybody's unfamiliar. I use these terms to describe energy, so think yin and yang if the words feminine and masculine are kind of have a lot of baggage for you. I'm not really, when I use feminine and masculine, I'm not talking about genitalia, I'm not talking about gender expression or gender identity at all. I'm just talking about the energy any particular person might be utilizing in a given situation. We all possess feminine and masculine energy. Otherwise, there would be things we just could not do. Like, yeah, we need to have all bits, and we all come in with different proportions of feminine and masculine energy. Some people are more masculine oriented than others. Some people are more feminine oriented than others. It's really just going to depend on you. But I find that the energy I read, if I'm saying it's a feminine energy, that means that whoever that is, or whoever that describes, is just utilizing that energy in this particular situation, not that they are a woman. So just want to get that out of the way, and now we can get into your reading, Sag. So I like to start off all my readings with a major arcana pull, just a one major arcana card that encapsulates the reading, covers the energy around the reading, and before I forget, I do want to mention one last thing because this came up in my last video that I recorded. I am reading energy in and around you, so the reading, the perspective of the reading that I choose, so I will sometimes I will assign a role to whoever I'm reading for just to make things simple, but if you're the other party, or sounds like it's about somebody you know, excuse me, I drank water really fast before we started. um, if this is about somebody you know, then don't worry about like, oh, this is you, Sag. I guess like it's just a little thing I want to make sure I point out. So I'm reading energy in and around you. This could be from the perspective of somebody you know or from your perspective. Really depends. I do try to tap into your perspective if I can, because I think that is more helpful, but I don't think it always works that way. I don't think energy is so linear that it will, be so direct and simple. So let's get into this, Sag. Source, spirit guides, guardian angels, benevolent ancestors, please help me to connect with the collective of Sagittarius. Communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Source, spirit guides, benevolent ancestors, guardian angels, please help me to connect with the collective of Sagittarius and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Source, spirit guides, benevolent ancestors, guardian angels, please help me to connect with the collective of Sagittarius and communicate the messages in their highest good. One more for good luck. This one. The moon. I was picking up fear earlier while I was doing the prayer. And I'm feeling as though this might relate to fear around the unknown, fear around being unable to see, because the moon comes out in darkness, and the darkness marries all things into one. We don't have the distinguishing features of everything we can see as we do in the sunlight. So I think there's a fear of just a darkness, kind of the machinations of the mind that can create worse things in the dark than are actually there. We can't see clearly. We're having to navigate by moonlight potentially, which is, there's a lot of trust involved in that, a lot of uncertainty. Moon energy is not direct. Moon energy is not like as clear and crystal and distinguishing as sunlight, right? It's the reflection of sunlight and kind of reflecting back to you things that are going on inside. I'm realizing, because this is your the sun is in your sign, that perhaps needing to see what phase of the moon the moon is in your chart, seeing how the moon is interacting, your moon is interacting with your sun, and how it's reflecting back to you the energy of that sun. In astrology, the sun often is this life purpose, center of self, kind of the thing that everything emanates out from and is surrounding. I mean, think of the solar system and how the whole solar system is animated by the sun. The moon is really just a reflection of that, reflecting back to you what it is. The sun, like the sun's energy, I suppose, or the sun's the life force. So if you have a simple way to think of it is the sun as the plot line, the desire and the ambition you have in life, and the moon is the setting that is reflecting back what the sun has. And that moon interaction is going to change based on what phase of the moon the moon is in your chart. So if you've been interested in an astrological perspective on moon, like on the moon, like what sign it's in, you know what sign it's in, but you might not understand the phasal dynamics of the moon in astrology, it might be worth looking into. I don't know who that's for, but it's for somebody. I know the moon unlocks a lot in our charts, but the moon is also there to remind us of the kind of the our life purpose, our goals, and what is it that animates us. It's there to remind us of the oneness we have with all, even though there is it kind of is so changing and fluctuating, reflecting back the changes and fluctuations of the material world, but kind of reminding us that it's all kind of one thing. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to set this here so that it may preside over the reading, and now we can get into your main spread, Sagittarius. Alright, Sag, so I have your decks picked out for you, so I decided, well, Spirit wanted me to have a little bit of fun, keep this a little lighthearted, so for your main spread we'll be using the Cat Tarot. It's a delightful little deck. It's very lighthearted, very, very fun. And then at the end, I like to pull a couple oracle cards as advice, and we'll be using the Spirit Animal Oracle for that. So we'll set this aside for now and get into the main spread. Ooh, hold on. It's been a while since I've used this deck, so I'm like, I forget the best way to shuffle this. How do I do this? Okay. That works. What messages do you have for Sag? What messages do you have for Sag? Because fear is a component of this reading, I feel like the lightheartedness of this deck is kind of calls for. I think Spirit is just trying to say, like, you don't really have anything to be afraid of. And fear is an illusion, an important one, to be honest, because it tells us we're on the right track. It scares us. Life's not meant to be comfortable all the time. We're not meant to do things that don't ever scare us. So, what messages do you have for Sagittarius? Alright. That's feeling rather juicy. Oh, I'll take this. Too much, Spirit. 3 to 4 at a time, please. Thank you. Okay. Set this aside. So for our first card out, we have the 7 of Earth. Earth is represented by cat food. I feel like we're putting energy into something, trying to like knock the treats out of the this is a funny deck to read for. We're trying to knock the treats out, and it feels like we're just getting scraps, even though we're putting a lot of energy into this. We're not finding the play or fun in it anymore. Before we were fine with the breadcrumbs because we enjoyed the process, but now something shifted. The 10 of Cups, the World, and the 6 of Pentacles. No, this is the 6 of Cups. These two being the cups. Although, I see the cat food there too. Oh. I feel like there's some expectations around this thing you're doing here in the 7 of Earth, 7 of Pentacles. I'll call it the Pentacles just so it's, I'm not saying the 7 of cat treats, because that's a that's a really weird way to put that. But so we have this thing that we had fun with, no longer having fun with it. We're seeking this spiritual nourishment. Our eyes are a little bit bigger than our plates. This feels like a sense of ambition almost, like this is all of the things I want to have, but I have all these cups I'm trying to fill. How can I fill these? It doesn't feel like this is filling my cups. My bowls. I think it's the the 10 of bowls. And then world energy. This is like a portal to something finished, but I think the thing that holds us back is kind of this something. I feel like this is either in your past or in a past life potentially. There's something you're reflecting on in your childhood that you're allowing to hold you back from this fulfillment here, and needing to finish whatever that was. I do feel like we're moving towards that. Just seeing this upright and then seeing this reversed, kind of letting go here of something from our childhood that didn't, I guess, like created limiting beliefs, created resistance and blockages to a happier expression of ourselves. I feel like it feels kind of like something shifted. Something that was making us happy that, a past self would have liked, suddenly feels very empty because we know that there's more for us, and we know that there's this we know there's more for us. There's a cycle we need to finish. I'm going towards it by letting go of the past. Can you tell me more about... Can you tell me more about the Six of Cups? Can you tell me more about the Six of Cups? What was in the past? Referenced by the Six of Cups. There we go. The Empress. Feels like something around mother, something around abundance. What else? It could also be that there wasn't necessarily such a negative thing happening beforehand. It's more of just, it could also just be recalling childhood nourishment to actually pull you forward into something new. So if it's not a negative childhood experience, there's a childhood experience, a childhood past life experience that is feeding into your desire for more emotional satisfaction and fulfillment, that's requiring you to cross a finish line where there is no turning back. We could also just be reflecting on what it is that we actually had as children. How are we nourished as children? Did we have everything we needed? Did mom try her best? Did dad try their best? Did parents try their best? This one, okay. And then Temperance, your card, Sag. This feels like a very very positive childhood. Interesting. I see the Six of Cups in reverse kind of usually reference as some kind of past wounding or a not so great childhood, but like this is feeling actually quite positive with the Empress and Temperance here. Like a load of balance and nurturing, even-handedness. Yeah, it's almost like you have this reservoir It could also be that you're learning, you've been doing inner child work, is the six in reverse. It being, you know, the child, like a child or like representative of a child, but in reverse, we're talking about the child inside of you, the inner child that lives from, your childhood, basically. We all have basic, I don't know, like, we all have an inner child. We all have um, parts of us that are basically like hardwired from ages like 0 to 7. But it really feels like there was you're reflecting on a childhood that was actually quite positive. Like where we strayed from that, I guess, is like we had this really positive thing, but then we came to a different place, it feels like, or I don't know. Let me see if there's anything else about the childhood. What else about the childhood? Past life? The Hierophant in reverse. Wow, so much major arcana for that. So the Hierophant can often indicate, well, in reverse, I think it indicates dogma, a very closed-minded way of doing things, not really open to new possibilities around spiritual exploration, learning. So I feel like you had a lot of what you needed, but the thing that was missing was this a spirituality that spoke to you, and that was kind of the one missing piece. You got a lot of what you needed though, but I think it's this piece that you're kind of coming into now, seeing that something that made you happy no longer makes you happy because you've the person you were that got into that or liked that thing is no longer the person that you are. You've made a shift, you made a change. You are thinking about bigger things for yourself. Thinking about how why am I living so small? Why am I why don't I think of myself as bigger? Why don't I why can't I get be why can't I guess that's kind of a way I would put it. Why can't I do the XYZ? Why do I have to sit around and work for chump change? Doesn't bring me what I want anymore. This could also be letting go of like old hobbies and stuff that no longer serve you. Okay, but look at this. Look at that card. This is the 8 of Swords. God, this deck is so funny. I guess if you're a cat lover, this is the deck for you. At least one of them. Luckily, my cat's asleep. I feel like there's a desire to be embroiled in something, to really have that thing that gets you so excited that you roll around on the floor like this cat. Like these cats are the same, yeah? Also another tabby. So it's really about and relating it back to the swords, I think it's about thinking about different things going through your mind and finding that thing that really excites you and like puts you into this playful energy. I do also think that part of the reason we see the Six of Cups here is because it's about getting back into the a childlike mindset. What was it that you liked as a child? What was it that you were missing as a child?
where's the childlike joy in the thing that you do? Because it feels like here you had it a little bit. Well, when this was upright and you're playing with it and you know, enjoyed it, but now that no longer is the case, and you really want to get back to this sort of playfulness. Any other messages? What else? What else is there for Sag? Excuse me. Lots of major arcana, which makes sense. If this is timely for you, the sun going over your having a solar return. Lots of closure, big life lesson stuff. You tend to come up around this time. You tend to reflect on the past year, the past self, where you were last year, and then even beyond that. I'll take them. Oh yeah, into the childhood play. Oh my gosh, I like that one is really tepid, and the other one's really engaged. I really ended up I started identifying with the more tepid one, but still in the fear, but still going for it. I mean, if it wasn't at least a little bit scary, it's not worth doing as far as I'm concerned. And then we have a Three of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like this Three of Pentacles is really about getting out of your box. Just because we're in a box here, it's funny. And then the Star, you know what it is that you want, and I see this cup of water here, and I see these cups here. I know what I want. I want to fill my emotional cup. I want to feel full, replenished, like a quenched thirst is what I'm getting from this. And I feel that this is really just getting into the energy again of what does the inner child in you want? Because when you satisfy that inner child, when you do the things that made you happy as a kid, not all things, I don't know, maybe making mud pies isn't the thing you want to do anymore because you're in your 20s or 30s, or I don't know, even a teenager, but there are things we come in with that we just gravitate towards. There's something about it, and I believe that when you rediscover that thing, I think that's this evaluation of going back, looking back at yourself as a child, what was it that I liked? Why don't I like this anymore? What was it that I liked as a kid? Because I think that what I liked as a kid is going to fill these cups up, and I know that that's what's going to happen if I can actually do some introspective work and try new things. Well, try them again. They're new now. They're new again to us, and I think that it's going to have to. It revolves around the spirituality or religious investigation, parting ways with old ways of thinking and old ways of doing that no longer serve. I think part of the reason that this deck in particular came through is because it's about finding that childlike joy. And I find that many tarot decks take themselves very seriously, which all has a place. But this deck is just asking you to find the fun. And I think you're a little bit afraid of doing that because you've been really comfortable where you are. And you don't want to cross that line. I think there's things that you grew up with that were just not okay. Or, oh, we don't do that because that's for crazies or something. I don't know. I know Sagittarius, you can be a pretty spiritual, open-minded kind of individual, but it feels like feels like a very closed energy. I know what's right, I know what's what. I have no room for investigation or expansion, which is very counteractive or a counter, the very opposite of your energy, Jupiterian, broad, expansive energy. So There could be a part of you that's afraid of doing spiritual stuff or spiritual journey, or, you're going through some sort of ascension process and like all this stuff just, makes you think you're crazy, but you're not. You're getting out of that box finally. As much as the box can be fun, it no longer entertains us it no longer entertains us. And I think there were likely childhood, what's the word? Childhood experiences you had, and perhaps even like childhood experiences with past lives, things you remembered that weren't part of your life, or that you just knew you brought in, but that was kind of you were trained out of by this not so positive Hierophant energy. And now you're rediscovering that. The star really, I think, speaks to rediscovery. I do want to see what that world's about, because I feel like there's more under it, or through it. I do feel like the world is really total satisfaction. Release, letting go. Oh, we'll pull some cards for it. What's going on with the world? Can you tell us more about the world? Can you tell us more about the world? Oh, interesting. A true pair. Both in reverse. Like, look at that. Look at that. Let me make sure this is on frame. It's a little out of frame. We'll do a little nudging. Still getting used to doing the readings top down like this, because I've been doing them with the cards up. But this just feels better. Anyway, so let's move this over here, because this energy is about the world. I'm just going to do that briefly. I'll put that there for now. It just feels like... It does feel like an unhealthy relationship. Huh. This could be the your masculine and feminine aspect in regards to resources, time, that doesn't feel like you can do this. This feels like critical parent stuff. But it's interesting. See, the king and the queen come out. This could also be indicative of the people who are in the place of some sort of childhood abandonment, not being nourished as a child. I feel like if there were issues in the childhood, the issues had to do with an unbalanced hand, and like just being dealt with in an unbalanced way, being dealt with in extremes, and not having enough nourishment, enough care, if it was something that was missing. And this kind of indicates that. It could also just indicate absent parents, or parents that were just too focused on money. That might be for some people. It's this like very, very like strong focus on finances. It feels like that's kind of what's being let go in this new cycle. Is like, how do I release my parents' baggage? How do I resolve the baggage I received from my parents around finances and money, so that I can actually go seek my pleasure? Because right now I'm working for nothing. Or it's like, this is reliable, it comes through, you put enough, bat it enough times, you get something out of it. It's just that it doesn't make you happy anymore, and you're trying to let go of this like almost overly realistic kind of like, oh well, that's not realistic, you can't do that, even though it's your joy and it's the thing you're meant to follow. and it makes you afraid of saying yes, because the thing you're dealing with is this, like, oh, but you won't make more money like that. I think with the Empress upright, it's like there's plenty of resources going on or around for you. You didn't feel like you were without, but there was such a focus on making sure that happened that there was no room for joy. There was no room for other things in your parents' life. Kind of like slaves to the physical world, slaves to the work. So they have a very narrow mind, and this also kind of leads back to the Hierophant in reverse. Very narrow mind on what was success, and success was making a bunch of money. Like, totally making a bunch of money. Yeah. Because that's the right way to do things. So thought your parents. But you have a very different thing in mind. Okay. I think we're good to stop here. I kind of want to pull one more. This is your birthday reading, so I'll go a little bit longer. Oh, no, that's too much, Spirit. You know that. Anything else for Sag? Anything else for Sag? There it is. The Knight of Cups. I think that's that seeking of emotional fulfillment. Looking into dark places, looking into corners, and looking into all kinds of cups. Willing to stick your head in and investigate what it is that actually emotionally fulfills you. Beyond money. So not only are we doing a mental investigation of play and following our bliss, we are also making sure we are investigating our emotions in the process, because that's part of how we find out what it is that brings us the joy. Yeah. So go beyond mental exploration just to be safe. Okay. Now it's time to pull oracle cards from the Spirit Animal Oracle. I just wanted to add a little card there, I guess. So I have the Spirit Animal Oracle here. I may need to get the Animal Spirit Oracle, the Spirit Animal Oracle rather, companion book, but that's going to depend. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But if you enjoyed this reading so far, if you enjoy me as a reader and you'd like to see more videos like these, please subscribe, hit the little bell notification, you know, all the good stuff. It means a lot to me that anybody finds value in this content and is willing to follow and be a part of my journey and your journey together. If I can be a part of your journey, you're a part of my journey. It's all good. Anyway, if this is your reading and you'd like to exchange energy for the reading and claim this reading, all you gotta do is hit the like button. It's a really simple way to do it. You can also leave a comment if you'd like to talk to me directly about the reading, maybe talk about how it's manifesting in your life, any comments, questions, concerns. I do read all of the comments at this point in time, as I have the energy to do so, the energy and time. But it's really meaningful for me to hear from you all, because it makes me feel like I'm reading for people and not just to my cell phone. I'm used to doing readings like one-on-one in person, so I'm trying to branch out and do collective readings so that I can reach more individuals. And it's what called to me, so here I am. And if you would like a personal reading as a result of watching me read and feeling the right frequency with me, you felt like you resonate with me as a reader, there is a link in the description to my website, friendlymystic.com, where you can find all the information on how to book a personal reading. So, let's get into this advice. What advice do you have for Sagittarius regards to the spread? What advice do you have for Sagittarius in regards to this spread? Oh, there we go. What advice do you have for Sagittarius in regards to this spread? I love these cards. They're so pretty. What advice do you have for Sagittarius in regards to this spread? Come on, I know you got something in there. They have this like satiny finish, and they don't slide as nice as I'd like them. But I like the satin finish too. Just little Gemini things. Like the thing, don't like the thing at the same time. Come on. Do you need a poem? Just maybe. Alright, we will pull them. Rabbit Spirit, now is a lucky time. And Scarab Beetle Spirit, magic works through you. So I'll put these on top here. Rabbit Spirit 49 breaking down to a 4, and Scarab Beetle Spirit 52 breaking down to a 7. Now, I will need to find the book for this, but because Rabbit Spirit in this deck has a very different meaning than the Rabbit Spirit I'm used to working with. Okay, I'm supposed to read for the spirit magic, the Rabbit Spirit that I'm aware of. And though this Rabbit Spirit is about luck, it's about abundance, it's about fertility, the way that lots of pagan traditions find rabbits. I also know that rabbits can represent calling in our fears by being by base like the story of rabbit is rabbit living in fear and basically saying, don't you come down and get me, eagle, don't you come down and get me, eagle, and by being so fully in their fear they call it in. So there is a sense of like you need to toe that line with acknowledging your fear being present but not letting it call in the thing that you're literally afraid of. So this is very I find that rabbit spirit is often about self-sabotaging behavior, where you have this fear about something not working out or you not being good enough or you failing at something, and because you are so focused on the failure you manifest the failure and you just prove to yourself you self-fulfill your prophecy of that you were fearful of. Now, Scarab Beetle Spirit, I will hold the book for. If I can find it. Oh, duh. Okay. Now. Oh. My poor legs. I worked out yesterday and I am dying. Feels good, feels bad at the same time. Okay. I will lift up Scarab Beetle Spirit for you to look at. Well, I think you can see them both. I'll hold the book. Scarab Beetle Spirit. Magic works through you. In ancient Egypt, the scarab beetle was revered for the creative magic of Scarab Beetle Spirit reminds us that we can bring forth something extraordinary seemingly out of thin air. Whenever you let your creativity flow through you, Scarab Beetle Spirit reminds you that Spirit has given you the gift of infinite potential. You have an ally as you fashion something new or repurpose the old, for Spirit co-creates with you, channeling energy through you so that you feel replenished and vitalized as you make magic with what is at hand. Now is a time for great optimism, for you can accomplish anything you desire and your creative endeavors will come to fruition. Miracles, opportunities, abundance, and love will appear seemingly out of nowhere as you allow Spirit to work through you and magically manifest what you need. Okay, so I do think that I should read in both Rabbit Spirit energies, the one that I work with more frequently, and also the one here, which is talking about luck, fertility, and abundance. So I think that because I'm having this dual I have this duality about Rabbit Spirit, I think that it kind of flows into scarab beetle. So if you're in the fear, if you call in your fears, that's what you end up manifesting through scarab beetle spirit. But if you actually believe in your abundance and your luck, then scarab beetle will bring in something that seems like it shouldn't happen, or shouldn't that was seemingly impossible before. So the closed-mindedness that you have, or that your parents kind of raised you with around money and finances, and abundance, which it seems like they were maybe they were, I'm getting the sense that they were workaholics, and they were very focused on creating this abundance, which is great. I think you have like, I do think they managed that, but the thing is that they kind of went about it in a very just closed off way. So they closed off their ideas of what creates abundance. But because you're being told, and I do think this is around work and and what you do for a living and how you sustain yourself, that this is whatever new endeavor that brings you joy is likely to be very outside of the box of what your parents told you would lead to success, or lead to financial freedom, financial gain, and abundance. But when you follow your joy, if you believe that you can make something out of this, Scarab Beetle is telling you that is more than possible. It's your birthright, is what I heard. So I hope that was helpful for you, Sagittarius. Happy birthday. I hope this is a good birthday season for you. I know some of you early Sagittarius already had your birthday, but Sagittarius always gives me, I guess technically it's not Christmas, but like, I get Kris Kringle vibes from Sag. I don't know. Just very generous, very abundant, very optimistic. That warmth in the winter, that last burning ember that you know you can still make a roaring fire out of. That's Sag energy to me. And I hope that you feel that sense of optimism, and you can release the fear and really feel the fertility and the abundant creative energy that you possess. All right, Sag, that's all I got for you. I hope you have a good one. Bye.